Yeah, I was surprised that we scored 53 would probably be my first response. I think the plan that the coaches put together was really good. And I thought there were times in stretches where the execution of that plan was good. I think our kids have had growth, not necessarily completely on the scoreboard, but they've had growth in some of the things that we're trying to measure and some of the margins that we need to improve. Great respect for Coach, his entire family, really enjoyed studying them. They're just a unique team. So 48% of their shots from three, they make 42% of them. I think that's top 30 and top 10. And then fifth in the country in offensive rebounding, and they play at a top 25 pace. And I think the thing that probably kind of even alters that flow is they're going to have some level of pressure on a made basket. And their style of offensive rebounding is unique. And so I thought we did a good job in the first half relative to our plan on their threes. I didn't think we were great on the offensive glass, but okay. Defensive glass for us. I thought we were great on our offensive glass, which was trying to be our counter. In the second half, I know they statistically made more threes. I think 3 of those threes came off our turnovers, which was a portion of the plan in regards to through their first 10 games in transition, they had shot more threes than they had layups, which is builds into their field goal attempts. So we did a great job throughout the game on the offensive glass. We didn't limit them on the offensive glass the way that we should. But instead of 48% of their shots coming from three tonight, 32% came from three. That was good for us. Instead of making 42%, they made 35%. That was good for us. The problem is when they get the offensive rebound, it's probably leading to another three. And so that was the thing that kind of hurt us from a statistical standpoint, I thought, in the second half, with some of it coming from the live ball turnovers we had.
And then playing without Gochi, I'm sure you figured it was going to be difficult to give up 44 points in the paint and to be minus 32 in that category. Just how much is that attributable to him not being on the floor?
I don't know. I mean, as you know, you've been to most of our games, I think. Like, we've made adjustments relative to the healthy bodies we've had, and I've really been thankful and appreciative of the effort our staff has given because sometimes it's specific to the players that are going to play for us, but the calendar's not going to change. And I think tonight was our 5th top 20 net team of our 12 games, and unbelievable environment. Losing Gochi does change our team, and it changes the plan. However, I thought the 10 guys that played, we did a really good job of practicing our plan on both sides of the ball. We just have to figure out how can we have more endurance in that execution. Because I thought there were spurts, do that, and then call a timeout and take a drink. And we called that timeout in the first half. I can't remember how much we were up. And then the last 5 possessions, turnover, block. No, I shouldn't have called timeout. All of the guys, the 7 games without Gochi is different. I think George, the 8 games he has missed or 7 games he's missed, however many Miles missed. But again, like I've said before, that's just part of sport. I think that was the 2nd game without Gochi. But we had more time. I think Gochi didn't play against Mount St. Mary's. We had more time for our plan. obviously, respectfully, playing here a little different than playing at home against Mount St. Mary's. So,
Coach, Coy had 0 points and only 3 shot attempts in the first half, but you shook him loose in the second half. What adjustments did you make to get him better looks in that second half?
yeah, thanks for asking. We don't have all the answers, and Coach has been much more successful than I have. But one of the things that we have said to our group, I don't think they're going to let you be a video game like you were against Michigan. And so their coverage of you off the ball will be different. Their coverage of you in a ball screen will be different. And so we practice some of the things that we thought UVA would do, and I think that'll continue. He does have the ability to score in bunches, and transparently, that helps our group, particularly when Gochi's not playing. And so Coach did a good job tonight, Lyle, in the adjustments that we made at halftime. I thought that did help Diggy some, but they also did a really good job in their plan in the first half of taking away some of his typical looks.
And DeRitter has been so big on offense for this team, and you held him to 1 of 8 shooting tonight.
He's good.
How did you choke that off?
I think I can't remember how many graduate transfers they have, but those 2 freshmen, I didn't know their names, 28 and 17, analytically, they are off the charts. And number 2, sneaky good too, in my opinion, analytically. 30 is deserving of whatever you typically write about him, but number 2, number 28, and number 17, they will stick it in your ear if you don't have a plan. And I thought George did a really good job. I thought Elijah, for the most part, did a really good job. But similar to what Gene was saying, if they're so good behind the arc, there's a little bit of so what's your decision going to be at the rim? And that was some of the things that our coaches had been studying all week was your decision at the rim offensively, because 17 and 33 are, I think they're averaging 7.1 block shots going into tonight's game combined, and we count a block shot as a live ball turnover. Okay, and then the flip side of it is you have to make really difficult decisions defensively at the rim, because as soon as you converge on 28, who probably is demanding that, 17, 2 at times, 6 is a bucket wherever he's at on the floor. As soon as you make that rim decision, if it's the wrong decision, baby's hitting a 3. And so I think that probably answers your question.
Yeah, Coach, right here. Ryan Martin, WMEC Sports, right here.
Yes, sir.
In the last couple answers, you mentioned live ball turnovers, and you've talked about that back at home, about the impact it has. They have 15 steals, 5 blocks. Just overall, in the context of this game, how do you see live ball turnovers impacting play?
Well, just I wasn't brought up in this generation, but when I was growing up and trying to figure out how to do some of this, old school coaches, before there was all the software and Moneyball, they would say you want to shoot more balls and you want to make more free throws than the opponent attempts. And the way you do that is don't give the ball to the other team. And the other thing is, if you want to be aggressive defensively, maybe you can take their ball. And then when the ball's in the air, you can't let them get it. And if you shoot it, try to get it more often than they do. And so we lost by 8, and they shot 12 more balls, and it was a push on the free throws. When you're playing a top 20 team, 12 more balls when you're as potent offensively as they are. So they turn the ball over 10% of the time. We turn the ball over 23% of the time. That's a high tax to pay. When you got the ball and you give it to the other team 23% of the time, the weight that carries on you, the other 77% of your possessions. And then to your point, And that was part of some of the things that we studied. They were forcing 11.2 turnovers and 7.1 blocks. All right, so we're at 18.3. So 18 times Virginia doesn't allow a shot. That doesn't mean that every turnover's live ball. And so tonight we have 19 turnovers and 4 blocks. And 15 of the 19 are live ball. So we got the ball 19 times, and we gave it to them either on the ground or in the air. And this just, I know I grew up in a small town and went to a community college. That's bad math no matter where you went to school. It's just hard. And I've got to do a better job helping our guys not give the ball to the other team. And in some ways, 4 block shots is 60% of what they've been doing. So some of our rim decisions offensively for us against them, they were better. They were better. Michigan had 6 blocks. Tonight, Virginia, who's slightly better, only had 4. That's improvement. We were so much better. The reason why 4 times it was a game against Michigan is we played with our lowest turnover rate. And tonight, we may have played with our highest turnover rate. And the types of turnovers, when they're live, it just correlates. And we're going to give up threes, and Gene's going to say, why'd they score so many points?
Hey, Buzz, you've had some memorable moments, memorable wins in this building. I'm thinking 61-60 in overtime when Virginia was ranked number 2 in the country.
Yeah, and then voted on Monday number 1, even though we beat them.
That's right.
Do you think that was because we were Hokies and they were the Hoos?
It might have been. Any
I
nostalgia.
asked Coach Bennett that,
What
that
did he
spring.
say? And what did he say?
You know, Coach
Yeah, I see- I
Bennett.
did.
Coach Bennett is like, if we weren't in the United States, he would be Pope. He's like the best human being ever to be
That's
employed as a
true.
coach.
Any nostalgia when you walked in the building and any memories that kind of came back to you?
I don't remember his name. He was a sub because Johnny is on Christmas vacation, but yeah, there's been a lot transpire in good ways, a lot of emotion. Playing in Milwaukee a few weeks ago, that was kind of strange. Taking the family picture with my children here. If you look back at those family pictures we took before we played here, the 5 years we were at Tech, and see the ages of our children and how blessed we have been. This is the first time that I've played here when Coach Bennett wasn't the coach here, and Coach Odom's going to do just as good a job as Coach did. And the ACC, Maryland, Virginia, and I wasn't a part of that, but I'm aware of that. There was a lot of storylines in my heart in a good way.
Thank you, Buzz.
Are any of you guys the local people? Does Mike Barber still work for the media? And what about David Teal? I know he retired 9 times, but.
Oh, appreciate it.
And who would be somebody else that y'all think that I would know? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I know Berman. Say it one more time. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer, right? And Till's a Hall of Famer. Till can't quit, can he? Quit, and then come back, and he's helper, he's editor, he's guest writer. I wouldn't say that.